استحباب العزلة, chapter desirability of seclusion at times of corruption committed by the people of the world. وقال عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال رجل أي الناس أفضل يا رسول الله. A man came and asked the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he says, Ya Rasulullah, who is the best man? Means the question, when understand from the question that the man is looking into becoming that person, of course. He's not just asking a random question. He's asking to see who could be the best man. I would like to be someone like that. So the Prophet ﷺ, he says, مُؤْمِنٌ مُجَاهِدٌ بِنَفْسِهِ وَمَالِهِ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. He says, the man, the Prophet ﷺ says, a believer, who strives in the cause of Allah with his life and his wealth. So he always uses himself, his wealth, the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon him, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Basically living his life for Allah Azza wa Jalla. Everything. فَقَالَ ثُمَّ مَنْ. The man, perhaps he thought that might be too much. So he said, Ya Rasulullah, then who comes next? Who's next after that? Maybe this is something that's too high to achieve. So because we're all human beings, we tend to forget. We get weaker sometimes, and we have other things that we perhaps we get busy with. So eventually, to have that full dedicated life for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and sacrificing all your money and all your earnings for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's such a great thing. He said, who's next, Ya Rasulullah? قال صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ثم رجل معتزل في شعب من الشعاب يعبد ربه. He said, then Prophet ﷺ says, one who retires into a narrow valley and worships his Lord. In another narration, the Prophet ﷺ said, يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ وَيَدَعُ النَّاسَ مِنْ شَرِّهِ. One who is mindful of his duty to Allah and safeguards people against his own mischief. So this hadith, as you see from the Prophet ﷺ, the second, so the chapter of course, the second person after the first one, is the one who finds his relief and his happiness in being with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone in seclusion. Of course, that doesn't mean by any means that Muslims are commanded or required to act like monks, start moving into the mountains and start living into caves. No, we're not allowed to do that. But that's specifically during the time of fitna. When there will be so much fitna in the world. And sometimes if you find yourself getting too difficult to handle these things, you cannot really live among the people like that, so you go and you seek somewhere that is more secluded. Would that include also living in small towns, small villages? You know that the bigger the city, the more the challenges. When you live in a big city, like here for example, you're living right now on the suburb. If you go and live inside the city, in downtown, you find it harder and more difficult perhaps to survive. You go to a larger and bigger city, it becomes even harder and harder. So the bigger the cities, the more challenging, because you're going to have to deal with a lot of people. And of course, when you have big cities, there are opportunities for both, good and bad. So it becomes very tense. You go to a smaller town, it's quiet. You go to a small village, it's absolutely peaceful and quiet. So that's why people, they would like to try to retreat. They usually go to these secluded areas, so that that less traffic, less population to deal with, and so on. So the Prophet ﷺ said that you go into Shaykh al just go like in the mountain and live on your own and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's indeed during the time of the big fitna. And also particularly, because this happened at the time of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, the fitna that might cause bloodshed. When there is fitna, you cannot tell the truth right from wrong. And people start fighting each other for that. And then they start killing each other for that. That is the time that you need to withdraw. And if you could not tell what the truth from what is wrong, you need to go and withdraw and retire into these places, and hoping that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and will alleviate the suffering basically of the people and improve the situation. So for you, you stay there and you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The purpose of going there, of course, is to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla. We shall see that there are other actually hadith that will come inshaAllah ta'ala later on. They will say that you have to balance that though. And the Prophet ﷺ in another hadith, he said, الرجل الذي يصبر الناس الذي يخالط الناس ويصبر على أذاهم خير من الرجل الذي لا يخالط الناس ولا يصبر على أذاهم. A man who lives among the people and is so patient with the, with their mischief is better than the one who secludes himself away from the people and doesn't show patience, against their mischief. So even with all what you see around you, you still need to be patient and be around the people that will be better for you. Because if you're good, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, why don't you spread that goodness around you? You'll be responsible to give da'wah. That's the point. If you get to a point where you just, almost like you gave up, I don't want to say the word, but like you gave up, for example, like Yunus alayhi salam or Nuh alayhi salam, when Allah told Nuh that no one else is going to believe after those who already believe, he said, Ya Rabbi, just destroy them. And when Yunus, he saw that his people, he gave every possible way of giving them the da'wah, but they didn't respond to him. So what he did, he just said, okay, I'll go and find other people who will accept the da'wah. And he left. But of course he was, he was punished for that. He wasn't supposed to do that without permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For us, in our time, it depends. So if you really can handle that, you're really strong enough to do that, with good company around you, go for it. Stay and assist, those people to deliver the da'wah. If you think it's going to be too much, that will, you yourself are going to lose your iman and you'll lose yourself and your faith in the process, then better stay away from the people as much as you can. And, just deal with the minimum. In the other hadith, the Prophet says, يَدَعْ شَرَّهُ مِنَ النَّاسِ. So the man who is going to be away from the people, one of the purposes of staying there is that he safeguards the people from his evil and his mischief. Someone who knows that he is always angry, he has very short temper. Or this person knows that he is not that, that a good person around others. And whenever he talks or deals with people, he creates problems. So, or he cannot be patient with their mischief or with their attitude. So in this case, you better stay away from the people so that you don't cause them any trouble because of your akhlaq and your man. Until you deal with that, and you fix it inshallah ta'ala, then you can come back again and join the crowd and join the people. There again another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says in hadith Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu وارضاه, قال ما بعث الله نبيا إلا رعى غنم. He said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every prophet has tended sheep. Is every prophet, he was a shepherd basically, at some point in his life. So the Sahaba, they kind of surprised. قالوا يا رسول الله وأنت, even you did that? قال نعم كنت أرعاها على قراريط لأهل مكة. He said, of course. He said, yes, I tended them for a few carats for the Meccans, basically for pennies. They just used to pay me something and just go and take care of their sheep. And we know from the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, he used to go out a lot and stay in the pastures for long. So he spend the whole day over there. And subhanAllah, I don't know how many of you have done that. But if you've ever done that, I did it myself actually, at some point when we were kids. And when you go and tend the sheep, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing experience. You learn so many things about sheep, subhanAllah, about humans from the animals and from the sheep. One of the things that you learn when you go out, first of all, it's on your own. I mean, you'll be in the pasture, and you'll be with the sheep. Not too many people will be around you, there will be any. And when you are there, you're almost, under the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You hear the wind as it blows. You see the beauty of the grass as it grows, the trees, and it is simply this majestic sight. The sky is so clear sometimes it's cloudy. You see all these beautiful sights, subhanAllah. And then when you deal with these animals, it teaches you to be patient. Because animals, when you call them, they're not going to respond. So you're going to have to be patient in the way you steer them, you take them away from where they're going, and so on. So it has so many good things that you learn. And most important thing here is being alone in seclusion. When you sit down and you rest, there isn't much really to do. And there is no one else to talk to, so you start thinking. And that thought-provoking process sometimes clears the mind, and Allah clears the spirit and the soul. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ used to do. So almost every messenger was prepared for his message by tending the sheep. So even though at your age, and if you get a chance to go and tend the sheep somewhere in local farms, go for it, You still have time to learn from the sheep, inshallah. Yeah, you can still. But if not, then at least learn the spirit. Just learn the spirit of doing it. And the Prophet ﷺ says in another hadith, قال من خير معاش الناس لهم رجل ممسك عنان فرسه في سبيل الله يطير على متنه. He said the best life is that of a man who is holding his horse rein in Allah's way, and is galloping towards the place wherever he hears the terrible sounds for the enemy, or detects a note of danger. Someone who always in the help and assistance of others. In our time, one of the beautiful calls that people respond to is relief. So whenever there's actually a situation anywhere in the world, they go with these relief agencies. So there is, for example, drought in one, there's a tsunami, there's war, there is something. So they go and they help and they assist. قال أو رجل في غنيمة في رأس شعفة من هذه الشعف أو بطن واد من هذه الأودية يقيم الصلاة ويؤتي الزكاة ويعبد ربه حتى يأتيه اليقين ليس من الناس إلا في خير. The Prophet ﷺ says that, or perhaps best is also the life of the person who retires with some sheep he possesses, he offers salah regularly and pays zakah, he continues worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala till his death overtakes him, he does not interfere in the affairs of the people except for betterment. So basically he's not now, from this hadith that you see that he is not 100% complete in seclusion. No, he has access to people. But if he does, he only does that which is good and better for the people. And this is our time, it's a little bit different. And many people would say, but this could be really difficult and hard for us to achieve and to do that. Still, it's very important that we take our role and our part in this society. At the same time, safeguard our iman, our families, and also the people from our evil. In the last hadith over here, or in the chapter following that, Imam al-Nawawi, rahimahullah ta'ala, he wants to make like a disclaimer over here, so that people do not misunderstand the previous chapter. Some people might say, wow, so this is great. So in this case, I'd rather just look and find for a job somewhere in the North Pole and live on my own ethics. I wouldn't say that. He says here, قال باب فضل الاختلاط بالناس وحضور جماعهم وجماعاتهم ومشاهد الخير ومجالس الذكر معهم وعيادة مريضهم وحضور جنائزهم ومواساة محتاجهم وإرشاد جاهلهم وغير ذلك من مصالحهم لمن قدر على الأمر بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر وقمع نفسه عن الإيذاء وصبر على الأذى. He said chapter, he made a very long title. He said a chapter on the virtue and the excellence of intermingling with the people, being around the people. وحضور جمعهم وجماعاتهم, attending صلاة الجمعة and their congregational salawat. ومشاهد الخير, and sessions of good deeds, basically. ومجالس الذكر, and sessions of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وعيادة مريضهم, visiting their sick. وحضور جنائزهم, and attending their funeral processions. ومواساة محتاجهم, assisting the needy. وإرشاد جاهلهم, and guiding the ignorant. وغير ذلك من مصالحهم, and other things of humans' affairs, looking for the benefit and the welfare of the congregation of the people. قال لمن قدر على الأمر بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر. This is for those who are capable and able of enjoining good and forbidding evil. وقمع نفسه عن الإيذاء, and he suppresses himself from causing harm or evil to anybody. وصبرا على الأذى, and being patient whenever he is afflicted by calamity or whatever actually mischief that might happen to him. So that he mentioned this whole chapter. You see how long the title is? He made it intentionally so long so that people they understand that what he spoke about earlier is not absolute. It's limited for those who are unable to stand against evil or unable to practice al-amr bil-ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. Then he mentioned a few words. He says, قال اعلم أن الاختلاط بالناس على الوجه الذي ذكرته هو المختار الذي كان عليه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وسائر الأنبياء. He said, remember, mixing with the people in the way I have mentioned in the title, I mentioned earlier, is most desirable. This was the way of Allah's messenger and the way of the messengers of Allah, all of them, all the prophets. قال وكذلك الخلفاء الراشدون. And this is the path of the righteous khulafa. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Umar, Uthman, Ali. ومن بعدهم من الصحابة والتابعين. And those who follow them of the companions and the scholars and the ulama and the pious people. قال وهو مذهب أكثر التابعين ومن بعدهم, and that is the opinion of the majority of the tabi'in and the great ulama and scholars of that time. وبه قال الشافعي وأحمد, and that's the opinion of Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad, وأكثر الفقهاء, and the majority of the fuqaha and ulama. وقال قال الله تعالى وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, help you one another in al-birr wal-taqwa, it means virtue and righteousness. So, and he said, وَالْآيَاتِ مَعْنَا مَا ذَكَرْتُ كَثِيرَةٌ مَعْلُومًا. There are so many ayat in this regard, and there are also many ahadith that he mentioned in many previous chapters. So again, this is to learn that now, yes, you are allowed to go and seek a secluded area to live in, and just stay away from the people and just, keep worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what is more desirable and more important is that you stay with the people, worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and invite them to good and forbid evil in your own community. Next to that, inshallah, Imam Nawawi rahimahullah shall be speaking about, some of the etiquettes and the akhlaq as you deal with the people. What should you be observing in your dealing with the people? Wallahu ta'ala. Any questions? Yes.
You recited in the ayat رفع السماوات بغير عمد لم ترونها. So there are pillars, but we can't see. Is that the meaning of the ayah?
The ayah that Surah Luqman, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says رفع السماوات بغير عمد ترونها, that he raised the heavens without pillars that you see. Now, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this ayah? Does it mean that there are pillars that we don't see? Or is it stating a fact that look at this, the skies are up there without any pillars? Wallah, the meaning of it is that there are no pillars whatsoever. It's a miracle, of course. It's a miracle. How could a structure like that you see up in heavens and there has no pillars? We as human beings, we grew up learning that in order to raise something, you have to have some sort of, station or foundation for it. But when you see the heavens up there, and there is nothing that really touched that holds them, that's a miracle by itself. So that's again, Allah says, رَفَعَ السَّمَاوَاتِ بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ تَرَوْنَهَا. So why didn't He mention without any pillar that you see? Because again, that's our perception of high elevated things, that they have to have some sort of, foundations or pillars that they stand on. So when Allah says, بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ تَرَوْنَهَا, speaking about what we know about high objects, that they have to have some pillars. It says there is no pillar that these skies are standing on. Wallahu.
Another question, if you're invited to a janazah for a non-Muslim, what do you do?
If you're invited to janazah for non-Muslim,
for example, a co-worker passes away and you go to a church, or let's say...
You go and you offer your condolences to the family, to the family of the deceased, of course. Show them your support, and help them in their time. And that's it. You don't have to attend the entire procession. Wallahu. Nash. Yes.
So talking the same question, so you don't attend the burial service then?
The burial service?
The burial service. Yeah.
Well, the burial service is going to be in the graveyard, there, and that's when they have most of the talking, or the talk basically, that you might disapprove or dislike. So eventually, if you had to go there because you could not get to the funeral home, then just again the same thing. You go, you offer the condolences, and you don't have to stay there for.
How about the wake? The wake and the viewing and all this stuff, just have them on display.
I wouldn't recommend that you do that. I mean, if they have basically the body displayed over there, should you go and as they say, just give them a farewell look and so on? You shouldn't be doing that. Instead, just go and offer the family your support and their condolences. That's what matters the most. Is that you support the family in such a difficult time for them. Yes.
Sheikh, back to the subject of seclusion. My understanding is that it's always allowed or actually recommended in Islam to be secluded when the temptation of the fitna will affect the deen.
No.
But if it's affect the dunya, like if I'm going to mingle with people and I will lose a few hours of sleep, or I have to it will be exhaustion for me, or I'll lose something from livelihood. That's not allowed in Islam, but you have to actually keep mingling with people, keep
stay around it.
stay around it. Only, my understanding is only when it comes to fitna of deen that I'm
No.
lose something in my deen, or
Yeah.
I'm missing something.
The question is if we understand from this hadith that if intermingling with people is going to affect your deen, that's when you need to stay away from the people. How about if it's going to affect something from your livelihood? Basically, you're going to have to sleep less hours, you're going to always stay exhausted and tired and so on. Now, my understanding, if it's going to cause you to lose time, get exhausted, and lose hours of sleep and so on, that definitely is going to affect your ibadah. There's no doubt about it. You're not going to be able to show up for fajr. You might not be able to come for Isha. You might, you just lose some of the ibadah. Eventually, it's going to affect your deen closely or middle. But in this case, it's not the main concern. Because alhamdulillah, the person still believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, strong in their iman, but they feel tired, exhausted, they're not achieving what they're supposed to achieve. So should we avoid the people? Well, the less you intermingle with the people in general, the better it is. And when we say the less, that doesn't mean you don't stay with them. I mean, instead of staying for 2 hours, you could just stay half an hour. And many people, they live like fish in a fish tank. The moment you take them out of that surrounding, they suffocate. They just cannot live alone anymore. And that's how they go crazy. And even we get used to this kind of gathering and the crowd, is that when you are alone at home, you don't feel comfortable in this beautiful, serene environment. So what do people usually do? They turn radio on, CD, TV, laptop, and whatever, actually they start playing something. Even though there is no one else there, they even not paying attention to it. You just keep, just having some sound to have the company around. I mean, subhanAllah, what happened with the sitting quietly, Jama'ah, and just start reflecting and thinking about life and so on? What happened to them? We seem to get so scared feeling alone, So we'll have to have a company of some sort of innovation. And we need to tend the sheep, Jama'ah. So eventually, I would say, even with that, although it's halal to be around the people, we should really to minimize that mu'asharat al-nas. I mean, ulama, they wrote a lot about this issue. One of the beautiful statements I've learned a long, long time ago is that al-isti'nas bin-nas min alamat al-iflas, which means feeling, al-isti'nas means feeling good about being around the people. It's a sign of bankruptcy, which means you really have nothing else to do. That's the meaning of it. If you only feel good when you're around people, then you are in very bad shape. And when you see the Prophet ﷺ used to feel stronger when he used to be alone, in seclusion, in ibadah, praying qiyamul layl. Why? Because he's in the company of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you really have that feeling that when you're alone, you're with Allah Azza wa Jal, that's a strong jahid, a strong kind of seclusion in this regard, being in the company of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But again, culture has changed. People, they don't really feel comfortable being alone. So being around other people is okay, so long as they don't cause you to lose your time and track of your efforts and achievements. Allah. Are we done, Jama'ah? Over there?
We're ready.
I think we're ready.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت